Hi Kevin, welcome
Hi.
to Project 70. Thanks for being a part of it.
You're welcome.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm 58 years old. I've got 6 daughters and 1 son. Second marriage. All the children are growing up now and quite successful in their own rights. I've got a beautiful wife. She's currently away teaching body painting down in Melbourne at the Australian Body Arts competition. I've go back in history. I started at the Sunday Sun as a publisher. Bought a house in the Redlands around the Burwood Heights estate and set up Paul Field's campaign, which was he was a councillor in the Redlands for Alexandra Hills, and then became mayor of Redlands after we got him into the local politics. Back then it was all no parties, it was all independents. From there I went on to manage hotels. I was worked with Capella Bar Tavern and Redlands Bowls Club, so I've worked in the area for quite a few years. And then I went into bus driving. When I met Lorraine, became a professional Santa Claus, which fed into my charity work that I do. I supplied 60 charities with toys and became the real Santa Claus for Down syndrome for 10 years, supplying the toys and acting as Santa Claus. A lot of that charity I think I brought through to all my children. All of them look around and look at ways of helping people up. Live by the motto of being positive, looking at glass half full, not glass half empty, and looking for positives out of every situation. And I try to install that in all the children as well as grandchildren now, because we've got 10 of them. What else? I'm currently working as a balloon twister as well, off-siding my lovely wife, Ferry Rain.
So where did you grow up?
Grew up in Zillmere on the north side, and when I got married, first marriage, I moved to the south side. I keep on saying it was because the police knew me too well on the north side, but I was really a bit of a wimp anyhow.
You grew up with mum and dad, siblings?
Yep, mum and dad, 2 brothers and a sister, and all 2 years apart. We went our separate ways as we grew up, all independent. I lost my youngest brother about 12 years ago to suicide, but lost my father 6 months after that to cancer. So basically mum's been by herself, and I've been running up and down from Brisbane to the coast every couple of weeks, keeping tabs on her. My sister lives up in Caloundra as well, she keeps tabs on her as well. And my brother Colin's living in Mackay again. He did a stint in Brisbane but had to go back to his children.
So how did that tragedy 12 years ago change you as a person, or affect you as a person?
It probably really changed my life in a lot of aspects. It made me look at myself. Previous to that, I lived my life for the children. I worked 2 jobs all my life and put everything in. I never stopped to look at what was there for me. When I lost my brother to suicide and then lost dad, I stood back and I've gone, what's in this? What's life all about? And I started asking questions. Then I'd had a few arguments back then within the marriage, and I took time out to be with my mother during her grieving period, and that put strains on the marriage as well. The marriage fell over, and then I met my lovely wife now, Ferry Rain, or Lorraine, And she made me look at myself and understand that it's all right to say, what about me? After I met Lorraine, I got very sick. I was off work for 10 months with viral meningitis to learn to walk again. And that's when the biggest life change came, is making me realise that, hey, you got to do it for yourself. And out of every tragedy, there comes something good. And that was like a door closing on me and a new door opening. And I've watched my children all grow. They're all successful and they've all got that fighting spirit. While I was sick, that's when I bought another house down in the Redlands, and that's where we are now. So if I wasn't sick, I wouldn't have had that drive to find a place for myself and for Lorraine. Yeah.
What's it like finding who you are later on in life?
It's the old saying is you've got to hit rock bottom to find out who you are. Comes really true. They say it about drug addicts. I was a workaholic. I was brought up on old time values where you provide for the family. And I did that all my life. I still do it to a degree. It's something like a leopard, never changes its spots. And yeah, I'll work my backside off to provide. But making myself, when I hit rock bottom and I had to look up and rely on people to help me, was a real, what would you call it? Real eye-opener, soul-searching. I'd never asked for help, and when I was sick I had to ask for help. And since then I realised that there are people out there that need help. They're too proud to ask for it. And you've got to look around and see how you can help them without offending their feelings. That's what I do now. I command, like I'm in charge of a team of 85 employees at the moment. And only this afternoon I was at a funeral for one who lost his wife last week. As a team leader and a mentor and a friend, I'll go in and bat for those people, and just being there in presence helped him. And I feel the same can be done outside for other people as well.
So you bought back in the Redlands, so you've been in the Redlands for a period of time of your life.
Yeah.
How have you seen it change, and what do you love about the Redlands?
I love the Redlands. When I first bought here in Burwood Heights, it was still bushland. And Paul Field's campaign, when we ran his campaign, was quite simple: put a field in the hills. It was a catchphrase that just romped it, and I think we got about 80% of the vote. Back then, we were fighting about koalas, knocking down trees for estates. That hasn't changed over 35 years. Back then, Merv Genrich was the mayor of Redlands, so we're going back a lot of years. Betty Golby was in the Redlands as a state senator. And it was really a country town. There were still farms. I bought a shop after I got out of the Sunday Sun, and I was actually buying my fruit and veggies for the shop out of the Redlands. Where Lorraine's mum lives, across the road from her place, is where I bought all my tomatoes and lettuce and things like that, potatoes. Now it's all houses. So I've seen farmland disappear for houses, and rich farmland as well, but the farmers couldn't keep up with the cost of living. So they've sold off their land and made money out of the housing. To me, we've lost a bit of the charm, because it was that country town, and it was known as a strawberry area of Queensland, really. we don't see many strawberry farms in the Redlands anymore. We've lost that country style of a thing, but we're going more towards the coast. It's so close to the islands, which is a great getaway. And in the Redlands, you've got everything you need. You've got shopping centres, you've got ease of access to the city, and you've got a quick getaway to the islands.
What's your favourite part of the Redlands? What are some of your favourite places?
Stradbroke Island. I've loved Stradbroke ever since I've been a teenager. I used to go over there on weekends and school holidays just to go camping. I've gone over there as a fisherman, fishing all the time. In my first marriage, the father-in-law had a house over at Amity Point, and we'd go over there fishing quite often. So it became a regular part of my life. In the last 5 to 10 years, I haven't gone over there quite as much, but we have got friends over there that work with Anchorage Village that we get over and have a weekend occasionally. It's like that quiet little getaway where you can get away and see white sandy beaches. Still got the sealed roads, so you're not mucking around with dirt tracks, and it's cheap enough to get over there for a weekend. Cleveland has changed drastically over the years. I remember where Raby Bay was. As a child, I used to go down there digging worms for fishing. Now it's all estates. But yeah, definitely Stradbroke Island is my favourite part of the Redlands.
Yeah. And what do you see the future being like for your grandchildren, or what do you want the future to look like for your grandchildren?
I want my grandchildren to pretty much follow in their parents' footsteps. I see all the girls very positive and outgoing. If I ever say you can't do that to any of the girls, they'd just thumb their nose up at me and say, you taught us better. And the children, I want to see them the same way. I just want us to make sure that they have the boundaries around them where they know what's right from wrong. If you can keep them on that straight and narrow where right's right, and fear nothing, and actually have a go at whatever they want to do, they'll achieve the world. That none of the children are going to have silver spoons, but they'll have good parents and advice guiding them along the way. As for what the future holds for them, only time will tell. But I've already seen a couple of them be entrepreneurial, and that just, to me, makes me proud as punch to see them willing to have a go. Even if you only make 5 cents or 10 cents in your entrepreneurial world as a child, those ideas carry forward into the future. When I was a child, I made candles and sold candles in the corner store for a couple of dollars each, and I've never changed. I've run eBay stores. It was one of our old jokes with my daughters is, here I am, father of 6 daughters, and I'm selling mascara online. I knew more about mascara than my own daughters. But if the grandchildren can grasp the idea that they can grab something and find a need for it and sell it, that's where their future will lie. They don't need to be held down to a supervisor or a boss. They can be their own boss and guide their own life.
Do you have a motto or quote that you live by?
Yes, every day in every way, I'm going to get better and better. Everything you do out there, you should keep a journal of. If you read a book, you see something that really inspires you, write it down. If you learn something every day, write it down so you can look back on it 5, 10 years down the track and say, I learned something that day. And every day that you learn something is a good day. Doesn't matter whether it's little or large. As long as you're walking forward and learning something, it's a good day.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Maybe thank you to my daughter for letting me have a go at this.
Super random.
Yeah. And look, the people out there, stay positive, and look at the bright side of things. Yeah, you might get knocked down, but if you can look up, you can always get up.
Awesome. Now, one question we're asking everybody: how do you have your Vegemite on toast?
Probably 5.
What? What? Why?
Oh. So that's why your mum makes it for me. I wouldn't go 6, it's too much.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, probably 5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being part of the
Not
project.
a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.